So I'm in the process of making a massive wishlist for FC26, and there's so many things in the current game that need to be fixed by EA, and I can understand how that can be overwhelming to undo so many issues within the game within 1 year or the next couple of games. For example, things like player growth, unrealistic transfers sometimes, club budgets getting out of hand, lack of unique scenarios within AI clubs. All these issues are within the game, but there's a blatantly obvious, easy fix for this for EA, a new feature they could add into the game that would really fix a lot of these issues that I'm kind of baffled that they haven't thought about adding in yet. It's a feature that's been modded into the game already. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a potential database editor in FC26. Now the name of this feature doesn't sound exciting, it doesn't sound like a flashy thing like an open world or a story mode or something, but it's something so simple that would make a massive impact in the game. So in this video I'm going to talk you through how I think that would look, why EA should add it in, and why it's the top of my wish list for FC26, despite it not being an exciting feature. We 100% need this in the game. So hear me out. I'm going to propose this idea to you as if you worked at EA yourself. So I'll put some videos on now of how this works in Football Manager first. This is something that you have to pay like £5, I think, to purchase it, but a lot of people do because of the reasons I'm going to talk about. And in FC26, there's plenty of modders that have added this into the game as well. It's like a live editor table where you can basically edit everything in the game, all the teams, the players, everything about them. It's unreal what you can do with this editor. So as you can see here, even stuff like you can edit the attendances. So you can have like a stadium half full, you can have it empty, you can do all sorts of it, which in itself is remarkable. Something that we should have in the game is like dynamic attendances. So that would be something that would be fixed. You can edit every stat of every player, all their traits, which is something you can't even do in the game outside of career mode, but obviously you can do this in an existing save. Also, when you're editing every player, it will show you how their overall in every single position changes, which is a nice touch as well. If you see an unrealistic transfer in the game, you can undo it completely, or you can create your own transfers and put players from one club to another, no problem at all. You can edit like the budgets within each club, you can make them bankrupt, or you can give them a financial takeover. There's honestly so much you can do with a database editor. So I'm going to talk in this video about how this would look within the console version of the game. I know it'd be different and there's going to be less freedom than the modders have, but this would honestly be class. I'm going to show you some concepts now of how this would look, and you tell me that this wouldn't be an amazing addition to the game. So here's the main menu. I'm just going to show you. It would just be within career mode. Maybe it's something that you can turn on and off for those who don't want to use it, although if you don't want to use it, just don't use it, I guess, if it's there. But here's the main menu. Nothing too crazy, but you can edit players, transfer players, edit managers, transfer managers, edit teams and competitions in the game. So I'll talk through each point and basically all the things that would be great about it. So with edit players, which is one of the main things, first of all, let me just show you now, in general, why can't we edit every stat of every player, including their potential, in the game as it is? That's completely crazy that you can edit some stats, but then like the potential, you can't, which is like really important for offline players. So here's just a screenshot of being able to edit everything of the player, which again, why can't we do that? But obviously that would be something that you can do within career mode, but it is a chore sometimes to go in and even edit player stats to get them to the overall that you want. The next idea that I have is something that I've not seen anyone else recommend, but this would honestly change the game for people like me that like editing overalls and potentials. Any stats I disagree with, any players that are overpowered or underpowered. As someone who supports a team in the EFL, a lot of the ratings aren't that correct, honestly. So a feature like this would change the game. So this is a quick edit feature in edit players. So if you want, instead of going into a player and editing all their stats to get them to the overall that you want, you can simply within the menu, use the left stick on your controller to navigate through all the players, and with the right, you can just change their overall, their potential, or their position in the game. And basically, it will just automatically change the stats for you. And if you're only tweaking a player's overall by 1 or 2, you're not going to see that much of a difference in how they play anyway. So this for me would save so much time, and honestly, you could just breeze through players, change everything about the database. It would make things so much quicker and you'd be able to personalize things how you want. Play growth in the game in general isn't amazing, and I'm going to make a video about that without going too much into detail. But for example, even within your own club, I know people can cheat and make all their players 99 rated, but the game's offline. If people want to ruin their save and make it really easy, who am I to judge? Whatever, people do what they want to do with it. So for example, if a team gets relegated in the game, their players won't lose ratings unless they're really old. They'll stay the same. There's no dynamic potential or dynamic growth with AI players, so This would be a way of just editing the database to match what's happening in the save. Another thing that I don't like is how the quality of players after a few seasons just gets absolutely out of control. So it would be a way of minimizing that, making sure that the players in the championship weren't like above 80 rated, for example. Just little things like that would just be so much better in my opinion. Even within your own club, how frustrating is it when you have a 30-odd-year-old striker who's the top scorer in the league, but they don't grow in overall because the game isn't designed to base it off of performance. On the flip side, you have that young player who's played awful all season, but their rating goes up. So it would just be a quick fix to this. While EA hopefully sort out the player growth in the game, this would take the heat off their back, because if players get anything that frustrates them in their save, they could just tweak it. It would just make the game so much better in my opinion. Next up, we'll go with player transfers. Now, this is something, again, it's a function in the game. Why can't they just take what they have at the minimum and just add it into career mode, where you can just click on one player and put him over to another team? Why isn't that in the game? Everybody hates seeing unrealistic transfers in the game. I've seen before Declan Rice transfer to Tottenham despite being an Arsenal or West Ham player. I've seen Jude Bellingham join Aston Villa despite being a massive Birmingham fan. So things like this, again, people will get frustrated and say, oh, the transfer's unrealistic. I think they're okay most of the time. It's just you get the odd one which is completely insane. So again, why can't we just go in and edit this ourselves? But in my concept, there is a little bit more customization with this. So you can do permanent and loan moves. Again, you can't transfer players on loan in the game, which is a bit annoying. You can also set their transfer fee, so that'll impact the budget of the club. And then you can also edit the contracts. So you can set the years, the wage, any clauses that they have as well, which again fixes yet another issue in the game, which is unrealistic wages. You know, in the game, Lionel Messi is on like 20 grand a week. He's earning less than like players in the championship, when in real life he's earning like over $500,000 a week. Cristiano Ronaldo's got 50-60,000 pound a week, yet he's earning millions a week in real life. So for me, again, something that it will take time for people to go and edit everything in the game, but if people want to do it, give them the option. For me, there's things that are just ridiculous in the game. If I take over Man United, for example, do you know how many players are overpaid in that save? I should be able to have Mason Mount on ridiculous wages and Rashford and Sancho, and it'd be a task to get them off the wage bill. That should be something that's within the game that will impact how well the team does. But this looks a bit in depth, so what I would say with this is when you transfer a player, it will just automatically set the fee and the contract and the wage to whatever would probably match the player in the game. So it's not something that you have to edit every single transfer, but maybe if you want to be more specific with it, you should have the ability to customize this. So with edit managers and manager transfers, it's the similar kind of function to the player side. Obviously, managers can't transfer in the game yet, but that is something I've already talked about in my first proper video. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out. Subtle plug there. But you already know if manager transfers come into the game, we're going to get the same issues. You're going to get Pep Guardiola taking over Real Madrid, or despite his Barcelona links, or Klopp going to Manchester City despite his Liverpool links. You're going to get little teething issues with it. So again, in an ideal FC game, this function would be in it as well. Edit teams would involve what it says here: customize the budgets, the rivalries, the stadiums, the level of staff, facilities, and board priorities as well. So you can tweak what a club prioritizes. So is it a team like Ajax that prioritize developing young players, or is it a team like Man United that prioritise the branding side of things? Little things like that would be good to tweak as well. And also the rivalries, again, this should be in the game where you can set like the rivalries of each club, and each game that you play against them will be that bit more heated. But club budgets is the main thing I've got this for. Another thing that annoys me about the game is that the budgets aren't realistic either. A lot of teams have too much money, in my opinion. A lot of the lower teams, just in world football, don't have the kind of money that they have in the game. A lot of teams rely on free transfers, whereas the Premier League teams, of course, have bags of money. But other than that, a lot of teams, they don't have much to spend. So again, it's something that we should be able to tweak. And it could mean that you could create your own scenarios in the game. You could make a team debt-ridden, like with no money, see them fall down leagues, or you could give a team a financial takeover. This would be really good for like experiments, like to give a load of money to a League 2 team, see how they get on. Again, you can do this in the PC version of the game, so I don't know why you can't do it in this one. So again, I don't know why us console players can't have a little bit of freedom and customization with the game. And finally, competitions. Just a simple one, but you know, before you start a career mode, you can swap teams from league to league. I would just like that function in the game. Again, like, it's not a big thing, but it would just be good to see for scenarios. Because we all know with the game, there's no stat tracking, so you can't see the tables from previous seasons anyway. So if that's the case, why can't I relegate a team and swap them with someone completely new, or customize things that way? Again, like just a little thing that might be interesting for people to use in the game. There's actually so many other things that we could talk about within customizing in the game, but I'll save those for another video. You can edit all sorts with mods. It's insane. You know, player hairstyles, fully customize their players' appearances, like the photo, the ID photo they use, their nationalities, the date of birth, everything. So these things that I talked about in this video and that I showed you in the concepts are just what I think could realistically be added into the game. And like I say, just an option to have this, to put this on and off, it would revolutionize the game. I won't hear any different. EA, please, I beg, add this into the game, because this would change things in my opinion. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, if this is something that you would like to see added into the game, anything I missed out, any other things that could be added in within that. I'm going to try and upload every 3 or 4 days for the next month or 2, because basically I want to talk about all the things I want to see added into the game, but there's a lot, and the reveal is going to be very soon, so I'm working quickly to get all these videos out for you guys. Seeing as it's the main thing that I do on X is talk about new features for the game and fixes that are needed, so yeah, I need to get all these videos out quickly. So let me know in the comments what you think of the video. Please leave a thumbs up as well, it will help the channel out massively and help me create these videos further. Subscribe if you haven't already, check out my other videos, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.